My husband sat across from me at the mediation table, arms crossed, smirking, and said, "Fine. You want everything? Take everything." His lawyer tried to stop him. Literally grabbed his arm. He shook it off. "No, let her have it. The house, the cars, all of it. Take it." He thought he was winning. He thought he was watching me celebrate walking away with scraps, while he kept what actually mattered. He was so completely, spectacularly wrong, and by the time he figured that out, the papers were already signed. My name is Claire, and I was married to Marcus for 11 years. I want to be fair here, because this story isn't about him being a monster. It's about him being careless, and sometimes careless is worse. Marcus was a financial advisor. Smart with money. Very smart, in all the ways that mattered to him. He built a portfolio over our 11 years of marriage. Stocks, investments, 2 rental properties, a small stake in a business a friend of his was running. And me? I was the one who actually ran our life. Managed the household. Raised our 2 kids. And for 7 of those 11 years, I also worked part-time from home, building what Marcus always called your little side project. My little side project. That phrase. Y'all, hold on to that phrase. Because that little side project is the reason I'm sitting here today. The marriage ended the way a lot of marriages end. Not with a single explosion, but with a long, slow fade. We grew apart. We stopped talking about anything that mattered. And eventually, we were just 2 people sharing a house and a calendar. Marcus filed first. And the moment he did, I could tell he thought this was going to be simple. His lawyer came in with a very clean division proposal. Marcus would keep his investment portfolio, valued at around $340,000 at the time. He'd keep his primary business stake. He'd take one of the rental properties. And I would get the house, the family car, and a monthly support payment for the kids. On paper, the house seemed like the bigger asset. It was worth $480,000. What Marcus had conveniently left out of his mental math was the $390,000 left on the mortgage. I would have walked away with $90,000 in equity, and a mortgage I couldn't cover alone, while he kept $340,000 in liquid investments and a business stake he'd been quietly growing for 3 years. My lawyer laid it all out for me the night before mediation. She said, "He's offering you the liability and keeping the assets. Don't agree to anything tomorrow." I said, "I know." And I smiled. Because Marcus had completely forgotten something. He'd forgotten about my little side project. If you've ever been underestimated by someone who was supposed to know you better than anyone, drop it in the comments. Because, it gets so satisfying from here. 7 years ago, while Marcus was building his portfolio, I started a small content licensing business from our kitchen table. I created educational resource templates, lesson plans, study guides, digital frameworks that teachers and tutors could license and use. It started as genuinely a side project, $200 a month. Then $800. Then it plateaued, and Marcus stopped paying attention to it entirely. Which was fine, because I kept going. What Marcus didn't know, because he never asked, not once in 7 years, was that 18 months before he filed for divorce, I had signed a licensing agreement with Anne, educational software company. They wanted to integrate my template library into their platform. The deal was structured as a royalty arrangement, meaning I received a percentage of every sale their platform made using my frameworks. Year 1 payout, $47,000. But buried in that contract, in the renewal clause that my lawyer had negotiated, was an escalation provision. As their platform grew, my royalty percentage locked in and grew with it. Projected year 3 payout, conservative estimate, $180,000 to $240,000 annually. Recurring, passive, mine. And because the business was registered solely in my name, it was my separate asset. Marcus had spent 11 years ignoring my little side project. And now it was the most valuable thing in the entire divorce. At mediation, after his lawyer laid out the proposal, I slid a folder across the table. Inside was a copy of the licensing agreement, the royalty projections, a letter from my business attorney confirming sole ownership, and a one-page summary of projected earnings over the next 5 years. I watched Marcus pick it up. I watched his eyes scan the first page. And I watched the smirk, that confident, dismissive smirk he'd walked in with, just disappear. He looked at his lawyer. His lawyer looked at the folder. Then they both looked at me. And I said, very calmly, "You said take everything, so let's talk about everything." Now here's where I have to be honest with y'all. Because what happened next wasn't immediately triumphant. Marcus's lawyer immediately pushed to classify the business as a marital asset, arguing that since it had grown during our marriage, he was entitled to a share. And for about 6 days, I genuinely didn't know which way it was going to go. My lawyer was confident, but confident doesn't mean certain. I remember sitting in my car outside my lawyer's office on day 5, kids at school, just me, thinking, what if this doesn't work? What if he gets half? What if I built this thing for 7 years and I walk away with 50% of something I created entirely alone? My phone buzzed. My lawyer. The pre-marital registration documentation held up. The core IP was established before the licensing deal. It's classified as your separate property. He gets nothing from the business. I sat in that parking lot for a long time. The final settlement looked like this. Marcus kept his investment portfolio, his rental property, his business stake. I kept my house, but we renegotiated. He paid down $200,000 of the mortgage as part of the settlement in exchange for the second car and a reduced support arrangement. And I kept my business. Entirely. Every royalty, every contract, every future dollar. We went back to the mediation table for the final signing. And I want to tell y'all about the moment Marcus realized the full picture. His lawyer leaned over and whispered something to him. I couldn't hear it. But I watched Marcus do the math in his head, probably for the first time, of what my projected business income actually meant over the next decade. He looked across the table at me. Not with anger, not with smugness. With something I can only describe as the quiet devastation of a person who finally understands exactly what they lost. Not the assets. Not the money. Me. He'd spent 11 years not paying attention. And it cost him everything that was actually going to matter. I signed my name on those papers. And I felt not victorious. That's not the right word. I felt clear. Like 11 years of being dismissed, minimized, overlooked. Being told my work was a little side project. Being handed the mortgage while he kept the liquidity. All of it had produced exactly one outcome. It had made me very, very organized, very documented, very prepared. And when the moment came, I was ready. He wasn't. My business cleared $190,000 last year. I refinanced the house. It's mine, fully mine. My kids are doing great. And Marcus, I genuinely wish him well. I do. But I also heard through a mutual friend that he's been telling people the divorce settlement was unfair. Unfair. The man who said take everything, who dismissed my work for 7 years, thinks the outcome was unfair. He handed me the pen, y'all. I just knew what to sign. Here's what I really want every woman watching this to understand. What you're building right now, even if nobody's paying attention to it, matters. Your work matters. Your business matters. Your little side project matters. Document it. Register it. Protect it. Put your name on it. Because you never know when the thing that everyone dismissed as small becomes the thing that changes everything. Don't shrink your work because someone else can't see its value. See it yourself. Protect it yourself. Build it anyway. Because when the moment comes, and sometimes the moment comes, you want to be the most prepared person in that room. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever had something you built be dismissed or minimized, I really want to hear about it in the comments. Like this video if it hit for you. It genuinely helps more than you know. And subscribe, because every day I'm here. Real stories, real decisions, real outcomes. I'll see y'all next video. Take care of yourselves.